All right, let's begin in child's pose. You can start at the back of your mat. Take your knees as wide as you need to. Bring your big toes together. Crawl your way forward. Support your head with stacked fists or hands. Maybe it comes all the way to the sticky mat. Allow yourself to settle. Right away, begin funneling that breath through your nostrils. Draw deep down into the lowest lobes of the lungs. Breathe out through the nostrils. Feel the body deflate, get heavy, sink into the earth. The earth beneath us has so much to teach us about resilience and cycles and beginnings and ends. Take a moment to feel that support, that constant presence beneath you. Maybe allow your body to settle more deeply. Where are you holding your attention this morning? Sometimes it's in the jaw, in the upper back. Maybe it's in the low back or the hips. Maybe this is too much on the knees, in which case come on up a little bit. Just take one more breath here. And then rise up onto your hands and knees. You can bring the knees directly under the hips, wrists under shoulders, drop the belly, look up. And then exhale, push the floor away from you, round the spine. So the degree that you move is not so important here. Really pay attention to your breath, to the ease with which you're able to move. Just exploring the spine and where it's at today. And then I'm going to mix things up a bit. So drop the belly, let those shoulder blades slide down toward your waist, and then drop your head, maybe even looking between the knees. You'll feel the back of the neck get really long. And then exhale, round your spine for Mad Cat, and look up. You'll feel the front of the throat and the neck lengthen. And then move with your breath. Drop the belly, drop the head. And then round the spine and lift your face. So doing this for a couple of reasons. Those of you who practice yoga with any frequency recognize that this is a really mixed up way to do it. You really need to focus on what you're doing. Get out of your own head. Many of us carry an inordinate amount of stress in the upper back and the neck, and this can help kind of floss it, releasing some of that tension. Good. And then come into a neutral spine. Tuck those toes under, pick up the knees, send the hips back for down-facing dog. You can keep the knees bent here. Try to make a long line between your wrists and your hips. Maybe pedal it out a little bit. Shaking your head no. Still funneling that breath through the nose, allowing it to stay steady and strong. And then coming back into your downward facing dog, let's just lift up that right leg. Good. Open up the hip, make circles on the back wall with your right leg. And go the other way. Is there a way to level off the shoulders, to pull that belly in and lengthen your tailbone toward that extended heel? And then go ahead, lower that hip. The leg is still lifted. Hips are square with the floor. And then bend the knee. Bring that heel in toward your sit bone. From here, you might be able to tip that knee up just a little bit. Don't overly arch the low back if you tend to be mobile there. Keep that navel pulling in. Stay long. And then go ahead, re-straighten that right leg. You're going to come forward into plank and hug that knee into your chest. And then inhale, back into dog you go, leg reaching toward the wall behind you. Do it again, come forward into plank, hug that thigh bone up into your chest, and then take it back. Good. One more time. Bring the knee forward. Remember, at any point, you can come into child's pose. You can rest. Lower that right leg. Hook the big toe on the back of that left heel. Use the big toe and second toe to help lightly tug that heel toward the floor. It doesn't have to come all the way down. Keep those hips squared off. Good. And then inhale, come forward into plank. Maybe that right foot is still helping to tug the left heel back in space. We'll slowly, slowly lower our way down to the floor. Point your toes, rest both feet on the mat about hip width apart. And then reach behind you and interlace your hands. Inhale, pick up the head, the chest, maybe the right leg. And then exhale, lower everything back down. Do it again. Inhale, lift the shoulders, the chest, the head. Reach toward your ankles as you lift the left leg just a little bit. And then lower down. One more time, each side. Inhale, right, and lower down. Inhale, left, and lower down. Place your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes under your heels, push up into plank, and back into down dog you go. Pick up the left leg, open up your hip. Good, make circles, the back wall with that left leg. So just little circles here. Go the other way. And then level off the hips. Bend that left knee so the heel is coming in toward the sit bone. Hips are still square. Maybe tuck that knee up a little higher. And then straighten the left leg. Bring the knee forward into the chest. Glide into plank. And then take it back. Good. Again, bring that knee forward. Round the upper back. Use your core. Take it back. One more, I think. That left leg straightens out behind you. Lower it down and hook that big toe and second toe on the back of that right heel. So just kind of a nice reminder to lengthen the back of that right leg. Inhale forward into plank. And then exhale, slow, lower to the floor. Point your feet. Inhale, reach behind you, palms down. And then slowly start to lift the head, the shoulders, the arms, maybe the legs. As you inhale, sweep those arms forward just a little bit and maybe tip the thumbs up toward the ceiling. And then exhale, lower everything down. Inhale, float back up. So my arms are out about 45 degrees. You can do that, exhale down, or you can keep them alongside your body. If you're really feeling good, you can take them out like airplane wings. Inhale, float up. And exhale, float down. I want you to really feel like you're breathing the pose. The whole body inhales up and exhales down. Hands under shoulders, toes under heels. Come on up into plank and back into down dog. Good. Step that right foot forward between your hands. Come up high on the fingertips. Get as long as you can here. That left heel moves back into space. Crown of the head reaches forward. Good. And then lower your left knee down to the floor. Inhale, come on up. Take your left wrist with your right hand, give it a gentle pull. So as you're doing that, see if you can back your belly up just a little bit. Stay strong in those legs. Nice, easy breath. Inhale, come on back up. And exhale, lower your hands down to the floor. Pick up your back knee. Left hand will stay where it is. Right hand comes to the hip to remind it to stay back. Sometimes it has a tendency to creep forward. Stacking your shoulders. Maybe reach up with that right arm. Find your breath. How long can you get between wrists? Between crown and left heel. And then lower the right hand down and step back into down facing dog. Step the left foot forward between the hands. Come up high on those fingertips. Check in with that hip. Don't let it creep forward. You might soften your gaze. Let that attention stay inward. Notice when it wanders. Just coax it back. Right here, right now. Easy breath. And then lower that right knee down. Inhale. Reach up. Take hold of that right wrist. Give it a little pull over to the left side of the room. Remember, stay engaged here in the abdomen. Come on all the way back up. And exhale, hands down to the floor. Pick up the right knee. Come into your twist. Right hand stays where it is. Left hand on the hip. That's a nice reminder. Keep the hip back. Yeah, the left thigh bone is parallel to the long edge of the mat. When you're ready, reach up. Good, get long. So you want to find a nice balance between effort and surrender, between steadiness and ease. And slowly lower that left hand down to the floor. We're going to step the right foot forward and fold. So as you fold, be sure that the feet are parallel, they're the same distance from the front of your mat. Your weight is nicely distributed front to back and inner edge to outer edge. It's okay if you have your knees bent. In fact, I'm going to ask you to bend them quite a bit. Seems as though a lot of people I'm working with lately are having some wrist issues. So go ahead and lift the fronts of your feet and slide your hands underneath. Palms meet soles. Spread your fingers. Try to get those thumbs down to the floor, those pinky fingers down to the floor. And just hang here. You can nod your head yes. If you can get your toes all the way up to the wrist creases, it's a nice release there. Slowing things down, staying present. meeting the body wherever it is at this moment. Maybe you're a snarl of knots due to stress, repetitive activity, whether it's sitting or something more physical. Meet that snarl with a sense of compassion, beautiful breath. Inhale, try to look at the horizon. It'll never happen with your hands under your feet. And then go ahead, slide the hands out. You can bring your hands to your hips, point your elbows to the ceiling and elongate the spine. And on the next in-breath, come all the way up to stand. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, dive back down. Good. Take your feet wide. Bend the knees, lower the hips. Come into Malasana, a yogi squat. So if this doesn't feel good on your knees, you can take a block or something and tuck it under your sit bones. You can roll a blanket or a mat, slide it under your heels. So if your heels don't come down, that gives you a little relief. And if the pose just really doesn't work for your body at all, I like this variation. Feet on the floor. Elbows in between knees. Really does a lot of the same things. It takes the effort of balancing out of it. And if you're in Malasana on your feet, go ahead and come on down to the mat. And let's all come into Baddha Konasana. So bring the bottoms of the feet together. Sit up nice and tall. So don't worry about how low the knees are. Think about creating length in the spine. So for example, if you're really rounding here, trying to get those knees down, let them float up a little and pull your belly forward. I like to tuck a blanket or something underneath my sit bones if I'm really tight. That helps. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Go ahead and drop your right ear toward your right shoulder. With the in-breath, tilt your nose up ever so slightly. So you're just rolling the head back, maybe just a half an inch or an inch. And then exhale, drop it forward a little bit. Do it again. So you're just using the gentle sway of the head back and forth to lengthen, release the muscles on the left side of the neck. Go nice and easy. Take your time. And then roll the chin down to the chest, all the way over to the left ear. Ooh, that feels tight. And then go back to the right. Inhale your head up. Nice. And then take your left ear over to your left shoulder. Same thing, you just want to start to initiate that little bit of rocking back and forth. Never want to force the neck. Just moving with your breath. The next time you come forward, do a big half circle. Take your time. Over to the right. And back to the left. And come on up to vertical. Good. Cross your right shin in front of your left. Sit up nice and tall here. Inhale, arms up. And then exhale, twist to your right. You can use the back of that left hand against your knee to help create length in the spine. Pull your belly in. Go ahead and look over your right shoulder. Where is your tension here? Can you find it? Maybe coax it to let go by using your breath. And then come back. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Keep those feet active. Push them away from their knees. Maybe walk forward a little bit. So resist the temptation to come so far that the sit bones start to lift up off the floor. You want to keep those tacked down. You want to keep the shoulder blades on the back. Do keep your belly taut, nice and engaged. Maybe just nod your head from side to side here. Good. And walk your hands forward if you were in a forward bend. Lean back. Let's just switch. Place your left shin in front of your right. Inhale, arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers and press the palms to the sky. So especially the index finger side of your hands. And then try to hug those biceps in toward your ears. Sit up really tall. And then parting the hands, twist to your left. You can look over your left shoulder. Use your belly. Can you pull that in and take your navel toward your left elbow? And then exhale back to center. Sit up tall. If you want to walk your hands forward, you can. So working into those outer hips here. Keep those shoulder blades on the back. Keep the breath steady and even. And then come on back up. Good. All right, let's lie down. Feet flat on the floor, knees pointing up toward the ceiling. Just cross that right ankle over the left knee. So this is that outer hip again. You can stay here. You can bring your left knee in toward your chest. Maybe taking hold of the left thigh bone or the shin. Notice if your right foot is square with the knee. Try not to sickle it. And I tend to see most people sickle it so that they can see the bottom of their foot. You want to press the ball of the foot evenly away. Protect the knee joint. Soften your brow, muscles around the eyes and the jaw. And slowly switch sides. So choose the version of this pose that serves you best today. And then release. Take the right knee in. Straighten the left leg out on the floor. And go ahead and start to straighten the right leg up toward the ceiling. So sometimes the leg is really bent because the hamstrings are a little shorter. That's okay. But I don't want you to bring your leg toward your body. That tends to round the low back. So go ahead and push that right leg away from you enough that you get a little bit of an arch in your low back. You should have a nice natural curve there. And then check in with those hips. If you can reach your leg, you can hold on to it. If not, no worries. Just let it move straight up in the air. You can flex both feet, slide the heels away from you. Of course, if you have a strap handy, you can wrap a strap around the ball of that right foot. But no worries. Another nice thing you could do at home is if you can face a wall and press your left foot into a wall as your right foot moves toward the ceiling. Probably should have said that before I got you in the pose. And then go ahead, bend that right knee. And you're just going to take your right knee across your body, coming into a twist. Right arm reaches out to the right. Take your left hand and use the heel of that palm to press into the outer right hip. You can give yourself a little assist here, either the outer hip or maybe the top of that thigh bone, so that the hip moves away from you a little bit, creates a greater sense of length in the spine. If it works, you can roll your head to the right. Go ahead and just release that left hand. Take a nice deep breath in and a complete breath out. And then slowly roll back onto your back. And we'll switch sides. Straighten the right leg out on the floor. Pause there. Notice, does one leg or hip feel different than the other? And then go ahead, bring that left knee in. Give it a hug. So purposely taking our time this morning, or evening, depending on when you're doing this practice. And when you're ready, you can start to straighten that left leg. Remember, it doesn't have to be all the way straight, but try not to bring it too close to you. See how my low back is rounding? Slide that thigh bone away and you'll feel the lumbar curve reappear. You can flex your feet, keep those legs dynamic. Close your eyes. Can you savor this moment, this practice of slowing things down, of being present, connecting with your body, meeting that snarl of nerves or tension with softness? And rebend the left knee, take it across your body, coming into a twist. If you liked that assist on the first side, you can take your right hand, just press that left thigh bone or hip away. Soften your jaw. And then slowly roll back onto your back. Bring both knees into your chest. You can rock from side to side. And then pick up your head and shoulders. Try to tuck your nose in between your knees. It may never happen. And then scrunch up your toes, all the muscles in your feet. Can you tighten every muscle you can think of? Your calves, your quads, your belly, your glutes, your shoulders, your face, your hands, your arms. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then exhale. Let everything go. Spread your body out on the floor for Shavasana. Maybe make a couple circles on the ceiling with your nose, going in one direction and then the other. And relax. Maybe make a couple circles with your wrists in either direction. And then rest your hands. Do the same with your ankles and feet. And then be still. Pema Chodron said, "You are the sky. Everything else is just weather." Be like that sky, infinite and expansive. Let any thoughts, feelings, sensations float through like little clouds or weather patterns. Feel free to stay as long as you like. If you're ready to come up, go ahead and roll to one side. Come up to sit. You can bring your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you for taking a few moments out of your day to practice with me. Connect with yourself, your body, your breath. That light in me honors that same light in you. Namaste. You can practice with me virtually. My full schedule is online at bewellcommunityyoga.com. Be well.